have these shows been for you? And you know, I know you guys. I mean, there must be so many UK memories for you, but like Nebworth in the '70s seems like would be a highlight. But how are they going for you, the shows at the moment?
Oh, good, man. We love it over here, and the people are just great. You know, we got a lot of old fans and newer ones, and it's been a great tour so far over here. You know, all the shows seem to be going great, so we're doing fine, and still feel blessed to be here doing it. You know.
Yeah, and so and I gather is this a farewell tour?
Well, it's the farewell tour as far as touring.
Yeah.
We might do. We're going to do some more CDs. We really want to, and writing and recording, you know, and do special events like for the Wounded Warriors or charities we close to, or just things here and there to keep going. We don't want to just quit, you know.
No, yeah, I was going to say, because it seems very difficult for guys like you who've had so much success.
Well, you know, it's hard. This business, I've heard say that this business, you don't retire from this business, it retires you.
Yeah.
So it's about to spit me out retiring, but I just got some health issues, so that's why we were calling it the farewell tour. I can't really tour that much anymore. I'm physically too hard. I just got a little heart trouble, and so that's why. But we're just blessed to be here.
Yeah, and by the sounds of things, you know, it's not showing that you've got any health issues, because the reviews that I've read from the shows are amazing.
Well, you know what? There's something to be said about adrenaline. Yeah. I mean, you know, all of a sudden when the lights go down, you start to feel your adrenaline start to rush through you. You know, so you might have aches and pains or a broken toe or whatever, you know, and all of a sudden you forget it. It's gone, and the adrenaline takes over and picks you up. And you know, like I was saying, there's just something about when you walk out and the lights go up, and right when you see the fans' faces, they're just like looking at you like, wow, you know, this is really them. We can't believe that they're actually standing here, you know. So this time over, I agree with Gary, man. It's been phenomenal over here this time. I mean, we played these festivals where we had 60,000 at one and 50,000 at another, you know, and they're just freaking out over the music. And I believe that tells you how great and magical that music is. It has stood the test of time. It'll be here a lot longer after we're gone, for sure. And the guys then, Ronnie and Gary and Alan, they wrote some very historic stuff. It was magical. And you know what? I feel blessed and fortunate that I've been able to be a part of it, you know, in a capacity that I've just thoroughly enjoyed. And this is my second go-round. First go-round, I was a drummer, and I guess I was okay. But you know, this is my second go-round and returned as a guitar player, and I've been here going on 25 years almost. So, you know, I guess I've done pretty good, you know.
Yeah, you've had an incredibly interesting history with the band, like starting out with a drummer, and then of course with Blackfoot, then you've had your own success, and you know, now playing as a guitarist. What was it like being a drummer first, and why the change?
Well, I called. I actually was the one that reached out to the guys. I reached out to Alan first, and then Alan said, "No, man. Well, you need to call Ronnie, man. We're looking for a drummer." I went, "Really?" Because I called him up to see if they needed a crew guy, like somebody to drive the truck or set up equipment or whatever. And lo and behold, Bob was leaving, and I called Ronnie, and he said, "You still play drums?" And I said, "Yeah, you know." He said, "Well, we're getting ready in 2 weeks to start cutting our first record in Muscle Shoals, and we need a drummer." And I said, "I'm it. I'm the guy." So I flew down to Jacksonville.
Had you played drums before?
Oh yeah.
So just
I'd been around. We'd all been around each other like club days,
yeah,
comic book club and stuff, where I was in a band that played drums and all that stuff. But I guess they liked the way I played because I'm on record now playing drums. And but here was my thing was, I knew, because I only have one lung and a messed up respiratory system, so I knew that they needed somebody really better than me, like had more stamina and more, you know, a better drummer. I was a good drummer, but I wasn't a great drummer. And I was a good pocket guy, I guess. But, you know, and then I opted to bail out and go back to playing guitar and singing or whatever. I wish maybe at this point, I dream sometimes what would have happened if, you know, the three of us could have played guitar together, Alan, Gary, and myself, or something of that nature, you know. But it was so cool, man, because we rode a bus over here the first time I got back with the band in '96, and Gary and I were sitting next to each other. I said, boy, Gary, I said, man, what if I'd have been there then? You know, we might have done that. He looked at me and it was so cruel. He goes, wasn't meant for you to be there then, meant for you to be here now. So that's the truth.
It was meant to be, you know.
Yeah, and it's and I mean, you guys have been through so much as a band and the different lineups, but it's really, I think it's so important to have songs like this that mean so much to people to be still out there on the road.
I think it's all about the songs, you know, and the music and this, what Ronnie had to say to everybody. He was a great lyricist, you know, and could say things in a special way. And even when, you know, when we were together and he was alive, none of us really thought about the lyrics that much. We were so wrapped up in everything else. But then now, all these years later, when you hear certain lines or something, it's like, God, how did you think of that?
Yeah, you
Why
realise
would you
it's
think that
genius.
way? Yeah, it's great, man. It's unbelievable.
And so, lyrically, like, what are some of your favourite songs? That
Saturday Night Special, little things like 2 feet they come a creeping like a black cat do. God.
I know.
And just all kinds of other lyrics, you know, certain lyrics here and there. And it was Freebird and Simple Man.
Of course.
Stuff like that just kills me. It just came through him, you know. I remember writing that song, and I had the chords, which are really nothing. It's 3 chords, but he kept having me play it over and over, and he just came up with that. We had talked about our mothers and grandmothers before. You know, we started, but he just comes up with these lines that blew my mind, you know, and it's like, where'd you come up with that from? Did you steal it? But he didn't, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a God-given gift to be able to
Yeah,
write songs
just,
like
that was
like
it.
that.
He was just blessed with that gift.
And how did you guys come to, like, both of you? How did you guys come to start making music? Like, what made you want to make music? What were the influences?
Well,
and how did you start?
I was raised in a music environment. My grandfather, Shorty Medlocke, he was in and out of bands all the time. Was a really good player and played, you know, had bands in front of me all the time. And I was reared to play music. I started playing music when I was so young, so very young, and that's all I ever wanted to do. I never could imagine myself being a doctor or a lawyer, and you know, I don't think my parents
Thank God.
Thank God, right. But the deal is, that's all I ever wanted to do, and I never really thought about, oh God, what's my future going to be like? I'm not going to have anything. I just knew in my heart and my mind, that's what I was going to do, and I was going to be okay.
And were there ever any challenges along the way? Have there ever been any moments where you thought,
of course, I
God,
mean,
I'm gonna
there's
have to
always
become a
challenges.
lawyer?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's always been challenges, man. I mean, you know what?
Every day is a challenge.
Every day, yes. Every day's a challenge, you know.
I started with Elvis. You know, I loved Elvis as a kid, a little boy. My mother used to say I'd stand in front of a mirror with a broom and my lip, you know, curled up. And anyway, but the Beatles really got us going, and me and Ryan Allen met right at that time after Ed Sullivan, and everybody was starting bands, you know, in America. Every garage had a band in it, practicing or trying. And we did the same. We just met playing baseball.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought
right.
I'd be a baseball player for the Yankees. That was my big dream. But every kid wants to be on a baseball star, or football, or rugby, or whatever. So, but music was it, and we never looked back, you know.
And because was it the story that I read that somebody got hit by?
Yeah, Ronnie was. We were to see his team play. He was on a team called the Green Pigs, and we went to watch him. And Bob Burns and myself were sitting or standing on the third base line, and he hit a line drive and bam, it hit Bob. Bob says the back, I think it was the head, what I remember, and it knocked him out, but it knocked the breath out of him and all. So we all ran over there going, "Oh, you killed him, what have you done?" And then after the game, we said, "Hey, you play drums, don't you? And you play guitar." And Ronnie sang. So we went right down to Bob Burns' house, which is only about 4 blocks away. And he had his drums set up in the garage, so we started playing Gloria and a couple Rolling Stones songs that we'd known, and the Animals, House of the Rising Sun. Wow, let's start a band. So.
And when you first started playing, did you think this is gelling pretty well, or did you
we
think
loved it,
this
you
is
know.
just mucking around?
No, it was all grooved with us. We wanted to be a band that did big and made it big. That was Ryan and I and Alan's dream, was to be in a band that was a big rock and roll band. Try to be the best, And we knew that there'd be a lot of trials and tribulations and stuff that get in the way, but we didn't care. Our thing was, even if we didn't make it, we'd just be playing clubs at this age, and playing somewhere. Doing music.
That's enough, because you love music so much.
Yeah, that was enough, but thank God it wasn't that way. And
well, but you guys grafted a hell of a lot, because if you look at from what I've read and what I know, so you guys, was it like 64 that you guys started playing together?
Right.
And then the first self-titled Lynyrd Skynyrd album is 73. So that's like 9 years of playing together.
Oh yeah.
So you had your Beatles Hamburg era and more.
Oh, more, yeah. Well, we were from the same neighborhood, all of us, kinda, in throwing distance, what we say, and we knew each other, and I don't know, it's just unbelievable now to look back on it all, crazy.
And those first two records, they I mean, you guys are still making records today, which is amazing and really, really important.
Well, we try to write the best we can. Me and Rickey and Johnny do, and the other guys write some. And we hope to do some more CDs and put them out. And maybe, I always said the Beatles recorded a lot of albums when they quit touring. So, not that we're the Beatles or anywhere near them, but you can do that and go play special events. So, that's the plan now. If we can get our manager to agree with it. No. It's the health things, but we paid our dues and played all up and down the coast of America and all of the South, playing clubs and trying to get better and rehearsing. And we had a rehearsal place we called Hell House, and we'd go out there from 9 or 10 every morning till dark and just play all day. And whether you were sick or not, and nobody could have an excuse unless you were really bad off. And
so would it be constant? Would it be a constant routine of like rehearsing?
Oh yeah,
gigging,
and then the weekends, if we were lucky, we'd get a gig somewhere to play a club or a teen den or a dance or something.
And back in the start, did you guys book your own gigs, or did you?
Oh yeah,
get a manager early on?
Yeah, I guess we got a manager after a while, but we booked our own gigs. I still got band cards that say 1%. And Pretty Ones, and it's got our phone numbers, my original and Ronnie's phone number from where we grew up. It's got those numbers on it. It's funny. So. And
was it like all for all for one type of mentality, with everybody like doing lots of trying to book gigs, or was there did Ronnie assume the role of like trying to do that, or did everybody
auditions? Actually, our bass player at the time, Larry Johnstrom, he was the most educated and smartest, so to speak, and he used to call places like in Florida. In Jacksonville, there's a lot of Navy bases. There's a Navy base, 3 or 4 big bases. So he would call them, and every weekend they'd have bands come play, at the base in their rec hall or whatever. And we would go do that, and he called places like that, certain things, teen dens around town. That's where we kind of got the redneck fighting reputation was, because
Yeah,
sailors,
imagery.
we played a lot of sailors, and only what do sailors want besides women when they're drunk? They want to fight. That's what they're doing. So they would cuss us out for having hair, not even as long as yours, because it was a school rule.
Yeah.
You couldn't have long hair touching your ears or eyebrows.
Well, that's where the name came from, isn't it?
Yeah, my gym coach, he used to see us after showers, after gym, or just sweating and stuff, and your hair would come down. And he'd go through and say, you better get a haircut before you come back. And so I started
Did
taking
they ever force you?
Yeah, I started taking Vaseline and combing my hair straight back and behind my ears so it wouldn't look so long. Then after school, I'd comb it right down with the grease and everything.
Yeah.
But I got kicked out a few times to go get a haircut, and finally I just said, man, no, I'll see you later. Because we knew we wanted to be a band. That's all we did after
Yeah, it's
school.
important. You can't be cutting your hair because it.
I think back then too, you wanted to rebel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I let my hair grow, just let it grow and let it grow and let it grow. And I'd take, every morning I'd take water and soak my hair with water and then put some kind of grease in it and just slick it back, pull my shirt collar up and put a jacket on. Well, we had these awards in our gym one day, and all of a sudden somebody said something about Rickey Medlocke, and I saw the Dean of Boys look around the podium and write something down like this, you know. And next thing I know, I got to class and I hear over the loudspeaker, "Will Rickey Medlocke please come to the dean's office?" I go down there and he goes, "I want you to take that jacket off." I took my jacket off. He goes, "Pull your shirt down." I pulled my shirt down and my hair was all the way down, you know, pretty well my back. He goes, "You're marching right across the street to the barber shop. I'm going to tell them how to cut it, and you'll get that haircut or you won't graduate." I was like, wow. Man, when I got back, I was skint. I mean, hair above the ears, man. I looked like a bald eagle. I mean, so that was it. That was the news back then. That was the thing.
Yeah, it was. You know, but it's still a thing now.
Oh yeah.
You've got to rebel. My mum just made me get a haircut. So
Really?
yeah, it's good to see that you guys, you know,
Well, good for her.
keeping a good length going.
Yeah, that was it. Man, our parents hated it. All in America, everybody had a Beatle haircut. Or the Rolling Stones were hippies and dirty, and they hated it because, you know, they talked bad about their kid. So we had to fight through all that too. And you know how mothers or parents are, they say, you got to finish school and get a job. And
Be
you
respectful.
can't play guitar your whole life. What are you, crazy?
So did you get a lot? Did you get, you know, some of that from people? Did people sort of say to you guys, you know, come on, at some stage you guys have to get a real job?
Oh, I did.
All the time, every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did you guys deal with that?
Well, I remember in high school, guys asking me, you know, what are you going to do when you get out of school? What college you going to? I went, none. You know, I said, I'm going to play music. I want to be in bands and like I was doing already. Oh, come on, you're never going to make anything out of that. Well, I graduated school, and my very first, I guess, 5-year graduation, whatever, no, 10-year, right? I went back and I'd been involved with these guys and been involved in another band that had records out and everything, and oh, it was a lot different then. See, they'd gone on and did their graduation, and a lot of them failed at what they wanted to do, but all of a sudden they got married and they had 3 kids, and you know, they were miserable and stuff, and I rolled in and I went, "Hey, how you doing? I guess it didn't work out for me, right?"
Yeah, you
I
guys
remember, too,
certainly
we
had the
were-
last laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were all kind of not broke poor, but all, you know, our families didn't have much money.
Lower middle class. You know.
Broke. My father died when I was 10, so we had no money. I had 3 sisters, and anyway, so that was a big thing to get a job and do something respectable, or at least get a job and finish high school and think about your future. But playing was always like a joke to everybody but us. Mm-hmm. And I remember we were that underprivileged, so to speak, and in high school, people, they didn't want to talk to us or hang around us because they were more rich people. We called them Ortegans. they lived in a rich part of town and they had money and dressed real nice, and they wouldn't talk to poor kids, so to speak. But then after we started playing the teen dens and dances and places like that for them, they thought we were cool, and wow, I can't believe you're really doing this. And like Ricky said, they were kind of upset that they just went to college and didn't really have nothing to do,
Yeah, they must have been very, envious of the hard work and graft that you guys have put in.
Yeah.
A great band.
And we had a reputation of that in Jacksonville, that we worked real hard. And people knew that, the locals and word of mouth. Some bands were good, but they just weren't really that good. But people knew we were because we practiced so much. It was like a thing,
And as well as being, great musicians, you guys also have a reputation for being hellraisers. And getting into.
I've never read that
trouble.
or heard that. Where'd that come from?
And
I'm kidding. No, well, like I said, sailors, and we play a lot of Navy bases, and everybody back then in the '60s, it was the late '60s, didn't like long hair in America. It was out. It was bad, and we'd have to fight our way out sometime. And certain teen dens or teen dances we play in the gym or something, we'd go to leave, and there'd be 2 or 3 rednecks out there. We call them rednecks if they wanted to fight, and just picking at us and messing with us. And Ronnie was the badass. He could really fight. He had a reputation of being a fighter, and he was good at it, And so if anybody messed with us, instead of just backing away or walking away or running, we just went right over to them and started swinging, And it freaked them out that we would come up to them and do something about them cutting us down. So that freaked them out that we were fighting back, and they'd usually run or do something. Of course, we fought dirty with anything we could pick up, but you're defending your life,
It's also the neighborhood's the side of Jacksonville we were raised in. I mean, side of Jacksonville we were raised in, it created more criminals than it did anything else.
Yeah.
And you know what? When you grow up in that environment, you learn how to pick up anything you can, a bottle or a club or whatever, and you just go to it. I've often said many times, I think why my hands hurt so bad. Not from playing guitar, but hitting somebody or something, you know what I mean? I mean, that's just the way it was.
Back in them days, it was, people fought a lot and wrestled, and kids, our generation. So it wasn't no big deal.
Yeah.
And then when you add some pretty good experience like Ronnie had, and Bob Burns, our first drummer, he was a badass too. He could fight. And we just go at it with him and got that reputation. Also, in hotels, we drank a lot.
Yeah.
So we'd get drunk and start fights, even with each other,
So did you guys hit it pretty hard in terms of like booze and drugs and all that?
Yeah.
Are you guys more like clean living nowadays? Is that tends to be the way with
We say we're too old to drink, but we used to go back after the show and get really drunk at the hotel or some bar across town, and that's where all the fans or chicks went, we'd say.
Yeah.
And we'd go and somebody would say something to us or start something. We really didn't start a bunch of fights, we just finished them. And people, that was one great thing. People would not expect that. They think, well, these guys aren't going to fight back, let's pick on them. So they would, and we would, so.
Yeah, well, it's a very good quality to defend yourselves, I think.
Yeah.
It's and it's something that I'm sure your fans, looked up to you for, like not taking any shit. But
they did, kind of.
And in terms of like the drinking days and all that, do you look back on any of that with like regret, or do you just think, or do you kind of think, God, those were the days, and that was a lot of fun, and like not too much trouble was caused in the end.
What the deal about it is, you can always look back on your life and say, I've had this regret or that regret and this and that. It was just the way it was. It was laid out for you. I'm a guy that believes that once you come into this world, your path is laid out for you. and you walk that path. And whatever happens along that path will build you the way you are later on. Look at Gary and I mean, now we've gone in this long tunnel of life, and fortunately, we've come out on the other end and able to look back at it. And it's made us what we are right now.
Yeah.
And honestly, if I had to say regrets, yeah, there's always a few things that you wish that you could go back maybe and do over again. But really, here we are. You know, we're sitting here talking to you today.
Yeah.
And I feel very blessed and fortunate to be able to get up every day and put my feet flat on the ground and go, I've got another day.
Yeah,
you know
every
what I
day
mean?
is a blessing.
Well, it's not only that. I mean, what I'd say in terms of, you know, you guys being part of a series called The Greatest of All Time, is that you really define, you know, I'd say you define Southern rock. I mean, you've got Allman Brothers and Marshall Tucker Band and bands like that, but I think you guys really kind of define what Southern rock means. And does your legacy mean something to you guys, or are you always just thinking about tomorrow and the next thing?
Well, the legacy's everything. You know, that's why we're here, playing the music that came from that, and living the legacy, living the dream that Ronnie and I and Alan and Rickey and everybody had. All our first guys to be in a rock and roll band that made it and that did good. We'd always say, make it. And we used to sit around when we weren't rehearsing, just dreaming and talking about, wow, wouldn't it be great if we could play some great play like 300 people? Would it be a great show to us? And I was like, wouldn't that be great if we could do that? And, you know, now here we are, and
You guys have played to
London at Wembley's.
over 100,000 people, haven't you?
Yeah.
What are some of your favourite shows going back down the years? I mean, I read that you played to a massive show, like your biggest show in the States, like only a few years back.
Well, yeah, but we played a lot of outdoor gigs in the 70s, big stadiums, you know, and LA stadiums and
huge
San Diego, big football fields and baseball fields that would hold 20, 30,000. Back in the 70s, they'd be packed all the time. And
yeah, but I mean, even to today, still be playing to crowd, because a lot of bands from your era, the crowds have continued to go down. Do you think it's just the sheer quality of the songs that's kept you guys playing to such big audiences, or is it the fact that you guys can really pull it off live?
I think both. You know, it's the music and the songs first, and that we still play it good. Like if we weren't good or we didn't sound good, we could tell. Just last year, we played Jacksonville, the stadium, the football stadium there, and it was a home show, and it was just thousands, 50 or 60, I forget, 50,000.
50,000, yeah.
Wow.
And during that show, it started thundering and lightning and raining so hard, they got on the mics, the fire department, and said, everybody go to their car. So there's 50,000 people went to their car, sat there an hour or hour and a half, and came right back in.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing, but we were mad.
Did you guys not think, like, oh, maybe we should go home now? That's
We thought, oh man, they're not going to come back in. We got to get out there. Let's play in the rain. We kind of had arguments backstage about going on and this and that. It was a big riff, but then when we did it, we actually recorded it and filmed it. So we might have a DVD out on it soon and just show the hometown crowd again. You know,
that's an awesome story to have happened.
Oh yeah,
so recently.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah.
There was some other great acts with us, Kid Rock and Jason Aldean.
Yeah, I've heard that Kid Rock filled in with you guys. Like, has he sung lead like on one occasion?
Well, yeah, he came out and jammed with us some.
Yeah.
On Mr. Breeze in Alabama.
Yeah.
He'd sing it, and then he did a song called
All Summer Long.
That had Alabama in it.
Yeah, that's basically his
and we'd invite him out when we were together. We played a few shows with him, and he'd come out and play or sing.
And he's obviously hugely inspired by you guys. Are there any kind of acts of today that you feel really cut the mustard in comparison to acts from the 1970s?
To me, rock and roll bands, no, because it's not really rock.
Yeah.
It's more pop music now, and even country music's pop country.
Yeah. What's happened to Nashville is quite a big departure from
Our
like, what it was meant to
management
be.
and friends live there. We used to always still do record there a lot, and it's a whole different place than it used to be.
It's funny because the States, sadly enough, I think in the States, it's the pop country, the hip hop, and all that, and rock is just basically at the bottom of the pecking order anymore. I got to tell you, I mean, there will be festivals over there, and it'll draw massive crowds. Some of these rock festivals, and then you start thinking to yourself, my God, what happened? Well, what happened is radio over there changed. Radio dominates, so radio changes everything, and the record labels, as such, jumped on the bandwagon and created this thing of pop music, hip hop, pop country, whatever. Everything was pop,
Yeah.
And over here, they still revere rock. In other countries, South America, Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, everywhere still reveres rock. And I just look at it and I have to shake my head sometimes like, what the hell is people thinking? You know what I mean? But, hey, you know what? We feel, and I mean, at least I do, okay? I feel that the music that we make, okay, is some of we're the best on stage, so the best ever recorded, that these guys actually sat there and made magic. It was magical at the time. And I just said this a while ago, and I love this statement, and I know Gary will probably get tired of me saying it, but I'm proud of this statement. We were with Scott, the guitar player, the other day from Anthrax.
Yeah.
And I've known Scott for a little while. And we were standing with him right before this festival. And he had already played a festival with us. They were on right before us. And he looked at me and he goes, you know what, Ricky? He goes, just when you think your band is the tightest that it can possibly get, then you play with Lynyrd Skynyrd and realize you need to go back into rehearsal. He said, you guys have got to be the tightest band I've ever heard. He goes, do you work at it? I went, yeah, 50 years worth.
Yeah, you can't replace it. Well, guys, it's been an absolute honour.
Man,
Thank you.
Thanks
Appreciate
so much.
you coming.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Yeah, looking forward to
Yeah,
seeing
man.
the show tonight.
Yeah, man,
You bet.
that'd be great. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.